In the headlines, President Muhammadu Buhari summoned security chiefs to emergency meeting as Southeast governors decry insecurity in the region. APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu presents action plan to Afenifere leaders in Akure. President Muhammadu Buhari backs CBN redesigning move, says beneficial for the nation. And on the international scene, Rwanda sets up Ebola prevention booth at border with Uganda. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. And we begin with security, where President Muhammadu Buhari has summoned security chiefs to an emergency meeting in Abuja. Presidential media aide Garba Shehu, in a statement, said Monday's meeting is to further review and strengthen security network in the country. According to the statement, the president, who was initially scheduled to commission the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, New Technology and Innovation Complex, will receive briefs from the security chiefs and interject on areas that need more attention, while the commissioning of the Naseni complex will hold at a later date. The meeting will be coming amid terror alerts of impending attacks on the Nigerian capital. The development led to panic, with the US and UK advising their citizens to leave Abuja. But in the wake of the development, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba Ahmed, insisted that the nation's capital is safe, dismissing any threats of attacks. Governors of the 5 Southeast states have agreed to set up a joint security patrol in all major highways to contain rising insecurity in the sub-region. The governors agreed to several positions at an emergency meeting held in Enugu on Sunday, including a call on the federal government to provide adequate security in the zone. Chairman of Southeast Governors Forum, Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State, appealed to the federal government to initiate the dredging of rivers in the southeast in order to forestall future devastation by flooding in the sub-region. The Southeast governors dismissed claims that it set up the Eastern Security Network, insisting that its regional formations remain Ebubeagu and Forest Guards. The group believes that a political solution is possible to fast-track the release of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra.
Southeast governors therefore call on the federal government to come to the aid of the people of Southeast in beefing up security in the zone, bearing in mind that elections are also around the corner, and there is heightened activities within this period. Meanwhile, we deliberated on the best way to help our people and also restore their confidence to go about their businesses. And we all agreed definitely and totally to start a joint security patrol in all our major highways in Southeast, and this will commence before December 1st. So we're going to put funds together to purchase vehicles to ensure that we have 24 hours joint patrol of security people in most of our highways in Southeast.
Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali, has warned journalists not to engage in reporting fake news capable of igniting crisis in the country. The IGP made the call during the commissioning of a new building of police station in Ibusa, Oshimili North local government area of Delta State. IG Usman said kidnapping and banditry are modern-day crimes, and all security agencies need to work together to be able to fight and make Nigeria a peaceful place.
Around us. So we need synergy, and we are doing it, particularly because of that we are having a lot of successes. Forget about all this international conspiracy and efforts to bring down the efforts of government. Unnecessary security alerts that does not have any meaning. And therefore, I also want to appeal to our media that you should not be used as tools of transmitting false news, fake news, inciting news that are fake, that are meant to bring us down.
Of death benefits to families of deceased police officers who of course died in the line of service. Initiative in the silent achiever IGP in his welfare drive for police personnel and their families. I wish to also use this meeting of opportunity to make a request to the IGP for the provision of more serviceable patrol vehicles, anti-route equipment, arms and ammunition, as the command is in dire need of these tools. This request has become so necessary and of course very imperative considering the electioneering season and the continued need for security of the state.
Still on security, troops of the Nigerian Army have neutralized 7 suspected terrorists in Kaduna State. In a statement, the Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, said the troops of 1 division neutralized 4 of the suspected terrorists during a clearance operation conducted at Maidaro, Kagi Hills, Kusharki and Ongwa Madaki in Birnin Gwari local government areas. Another fighting patrol team of 1 division also conducted a separate operation along Sabon Birni, Zertake, Ungwenli, Mariawa and Tunga Madaki general area, supported by the Nigerian Air Force, and neutralized 3 suspected terrorists who were on the run from Kagi Hill. 2 AK-47 rifles with 2 rounds of 7.62mm special, 1 automatic pump action gun with 3 cartridges, 6 Dane guns, 3 locally fabricated pistols with 1 9mm round, and 4 motorcycles were recovered by the troops. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, commended the troops for their gallantry, stride, and urged them not to relent until terrorism and other criminalities are brought to an end. As part of efforts geared towards the resumption of operations of the Abuja Mass Rail Transit System, the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Muhammad Musa Bello, accompanied by senior officials of the FCT administration, have held a meeting with senior officials of the China Civil Engineering and Construction Corporation at the Operation Control Center of the rail system at Idu, Abuja. Speaking after the meeting, which included an extensive tour of the OCC, the Permanent Secretary of the FCTA, Olushade Adeshola, said that the purpose of the visit was to review the project and determine what actions to be taken within the shortest possible time to restore the rail system back into operation. On security, the Permanent Secretary said in preparation for the resumption of operations, measures had been put in place to ensure the security of the entire length of the light rail system, in addition to the security that will be provided on board by other government agencies. Residents of the Musa local government area are lamenting over what they described as loop-sided negotiation with bandits. The residents allege that despite the recent negotiation with local authority, residents have been going through a series of bandits attacks. Abdullahi Yamadi speaks with some of the affected communities in the area. His report.
Dang Ali village in the Musa local government is one of the communities worst affected by the activities of bandits. Here, many people have been displaced, animals rustled, and many people, including women and children, abducted for ransom. You see, we are only living here at the mercy of the terrorists. All the traditional institutions, local courts, and security outposts have been terrorized. closed and relocated to safer places. Schools and hospitals in all the insecurity-prone communities have also been closed. Roads leading to and from these communities are deserted, even on market days. Residents of Entomaki are worried that since the recent negotiation with bandits, the entire communities in the local government are recording broad daylight robbery, killings, and abductions. In both Entomaki and Damusa districts, there are people we know who are harboring criminals, selling drugs and alcohol, but I don't think anything is being done about it. This needs to be checked and controlled. Describing the negotiation as one-sided, residents are calling on the relevant stakeholders to either revisit or cancel the whole arrangement to give communities opportunity to protect themselves against bandits' attacks. When contacted, the Katsina State Police Command dissociated itself from any local arrangement or negotiation with the terrorists.
We have an information that some communities are dialoguing with these terrorists, which is very bad, because the state government, the federal government is the one that should be able to do something in that regard, not even the security agencies, but for communities to decide on their own to dialogue with terrorists. I think they are giving out themselves to the mercy of these hoodlums. And that's why you see some communities will not be attacked, but the neighboring communities will be attacked. A local government will not be attacked, but the neighboring local government will be attacked.
The command is, however, warning people of the state against any form of negotiation with bandits and called for synergy between residents and security operatives to defeat the enemies of peace. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
At least 3 people have been killed in a fresh attack by armed men on the Ikem community of Ukem Beragia district in the local government of Benue State. Reports say the attack, which happened around 4 p.m. on Saturday, left many other residents wounded. The police command spokesperson SP Catherine Anene confirmed the attack but said 2 persons were killed. Moving to politics, presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, on Sunday presented his action plan on how to reposition the country to the leadership of the Yoruba cultural and political organization, Afenifere. Tinubu arrived at the airport in Akure earlier in the day and was received by the state's Deputy Governor, Lucky Oyedatiwa, the state's APC chairman, Ade Adetimehi, and other leaders of the party. Former leader of Afenifere, Ruben Fashoranti, had prayed for the presidential candidate, which is seen as a subtle endorsement.
There will be opposition. Or opposition with Muslims can win if the army is strong. But this one, with your prayer earlier on today, I will bring the trophy home. Amen. We will change the course of history.
You're still watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Craft that never fades in a fast-changing world. Do stay with us.
Which kind of wire you gonna need to light up your light? Oh man, the quality wire. Now which kind of cable you gonna need to light up your house? Oh man, the quality cable. Coleman quality. Coleman wire. Coleman durable. Coleman cable. Coleman tank. Coleman cable for any kind of project. Come and be the come and see, come and see. Come and be the Coleman won't light up your line. Come and be the come and see. Come and be the COLEMAN. security. Put now come and be the Baba.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari summoned security chiefs to emergency meeting as Southeast governors decry insecurity in the region. We also told you that APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu presents action plan to Afenifere leaders in Akure. Moving to other stories, some roadside food sellers have been accused of using cheap, toxic and contaminated food ingredients to prepare mouth-watering meals for unsuspecting customers to make profits. Experts believe these food poisons come from poor preservation, dirty environment and carelessness of the food sellers who could also be unaware of the dangers. Adamu Imam reports.
There have been serious allegations of how most food vendors, restaurant owners and mama put operators buy ingredients that are not safe for consumption or that are going bad and cook meals for unsuspecting customers in order to make maximum profits. It was also alleged that most of the spices these food sellers used are unhealthy for human consumption. A tomato dealer at Mudalawal Market, Bauchi, confirmed that some food sellers do buy tomatoes, peppers and onions that are going bad because it's cheaper. Majority of those who usually buy rotten tomatoes are food vendors and some restaurant operators because the water in it is already drained and as such cook faster than the good and fresh tomatoes and pepper in the market. We usually sell rotten tomatoes to those who need cheaper ones. Sometimes they even ask for it, but not everybody. Some will even tell you to remove the bad ones before they price it. I usually give the rotten ones to my boys, who in turn sell them to those who request for it. On the other hand, the customers who usually patronize food vendors said sometimes it's because it is cheaper and available.
I'm working near the area. I find it difficult to go home to take my food. I prefer to come here to buy so that it will be easy for me.
However, some food vendors at Awala Junction in Bauchi Metropolis said they spent many years in food business and still maintain their customers because they use good ingredients.
We are not talking of the quantity, we are talking of the quality. Yeah. You are sure of what you are eating and you enjoy it. That is why you come back.
We're not too profit driven. That's why our food is affordable for the common man and it satisfies them.
Meanwhile, water sanitation and hygiene advocates admonish food vendors to desist from using contaminated food and also be mindful of their environment, what they buy in the market to cook for customers.
They are rotting, but because they are looking for cheap things and they want to make more gain, so they buy. So I would advise that let them buy fresh tomatoes, fresh pepper, fresh onions, and some other perishables they need to cook their soup.
Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Blacksmithing is an ancient practice of forging iron and metals into objects and tools for human use. The noble craft has played a significant role for farmers especially. This artwork is still a source of livelihood for many in Maiduguri, but has some challenges. Our correspondent Bitrus Kuruti has the report.
Blacksmithing in Nigeria is an age-long occupation. It is found across all tribes and the skill is transferred from generation to generation. Gamburu Market is one of Maiduguri's oldest trade center. It's also a home for blacksmiths' old technology that produces farm implements, bush traps, knives, axe, pots, and many more. All these are crafted from iron, silver, and gold. Baba Gana Usman inherited the metal work from his father, and he has been in the business for 35 years. He says the craft brings customers from here and neighboring countries.
Muna da suturin wayan yanzu ma akasari ma cikin kashi uku din daya da rabi ma duk sun zo ne ba su da abin duk mun koya musu sana'a.
My father taught all of us blacksmith work right from childhood. I have 3 apprentices under me. People come from Chad, Niger, and Cameroon to buy what we make. We even forge car parts. I make like 5,000 naira daily. The business has helped me and my family a lot. I provide for them and sponsor my children's education. We get our raw materials from scrap dealers who sell old items like cars, something that's not useful anymore. We make more profit during the rainy season because it's the farming period. The only support we want is to empower the youth we have trained. Meanwhile, the goldsmith business is facing some challenges of working tools, machines, and mostly sourcing raw gold. We get the gold from Saudi Arabia and Dubai. Most people here prefer those ones. We don't have the equipment that forge raw gold. We only fix earrings and necklaces that are old, and we also redesign and wash when it's faded. Back then, when the town was safe, we get karat gold in kilos, but with the insurgency, it scared traders. So we only do some touches on the gold women bring to us. Despite the challenges of the old metal work and industrialized methods of forging tools, blacksmithing will always be a craft that will never fade.
Major streets in the ancient city of Katsina come alive as long procession of Islamia school students celebrate Maulud, the birthday of the Prophet of Islam. The grand finale of Maulud in Katsina usually comes on every last Sunday of the month of Rabiul Awwal in the Islamic calendar. In Katsina, Abdullahi Yamadi went around some major roads within the ancient city and now reports.
From 7 o'clock in the morning, children of Islamia schools thronged the major roads, singing praises songs and prayers in remembrance of the Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace. Islamia schools and other participants from the 34 local government areas of Katsina State come to Katsina for the Maulud celebration. Some of the Islamic scholars from the Darika sect speak on the significance and why Maulud is celebrated in the Islamic world. During the early days of Islam, in the holy cities of Mecca and Medina, Muslims celebrate Maulud to show the strength and powers of Islam and the numerical strength of Muslims. That continues up to now. That is why we are celebrating. Though some Islamic scholars differ on Maulud procession and consider introduction of some things they see as alien to the religion of Islam, Ahmad Rufai Khalid says it is against the religion to block roads in the name of religion and allow some youth using the occasion for selfish interests. Maulud is very significant, but what is happening now is far from what Islam says. there should be some adjustments because there is no point deferring people from using roads. Similarly, miscreants taking advantage of the procession should be checked. This is the peak of the event in Katsina, and days like this, many people prefer to sit at home as major roads leading to and from the ancient city are congested. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
In business, President Muhammadu Buhari says he's fully in support of the Central Bank of Nigeria's move to redesign the Naira notes. The CBN had last week said it will redesign the 1,000, 500 and 200 Naira notes effectively on December 1, a development that has elicited mixed reactions. In a statement by media aide to the president, Garba Shehu, the president said he is convinced that the nation will gain a lot by doing so. President Buhari said reasons given to him by the CBN convinced him that the economy stood to benefit from the reduction in inflation, currency counterfeiting, and excess cash in circulation. He said he did not consider the period of 3 months for the change to the new notes as being short. He said people with illicit money buried under the soil will have a challenge with the move, but workers, businesses and legitimate incomes will face no difficulties at all. And finally, on the international scene, the Rwandan authorities have set up an Ebola prevention booth at the Gatuna border crossing with Uganda. Anyone who crosses the border will have their temperature checked, and in case of any symptoms, they will be in quarantine before being transported to hospital. Member of the Outbreak Prevention Unit, Konsoli Niwe Mahoro, said at least 60 people showed potential symptoms such as fever, but no one tested positive for the disease. It could be recalled that Uganda declared an outbreak of the Sudan strain of Ebola on September 20th. The epicenter is a rural community in central Uganda, Mubende, about 150 kilometers from the capital, Kampala. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.